Good evening, everyone. I want to welcome you to this regularly called meeting of the Temple City Council for May 2nd, 2024. It is currently 3 minutes after 3. Please rise as, look at my list. Please rise as Deputy City Secretary Liz Caraway leads us in the invocation, followed by the pledge, which will be led by City Secretary Jana Lou Ellen.
Dear Heavenly Father, Matthew 15:13 says, "Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friend." Jesus, you are the perfect model for a selfless leader and protector. Over the last week, our community has seen firsthand the heroic actions of our fire department, EMS, police, and others. But today I choose to pray over just one of the many groups of people who choose to serve in the most selfless ways. During the week of May 15th, communities across our nation will honor and remember fallen law enforcement officers during National Police Week. And this evening, our City Council will recognize 2 instances of the incredible work of our police department. So tonight, Heavenly Father, my prayer is specifically for the brave heroes who selfishly go to work each day to protect, defend, and serve our community. I pray for the safety of these men and women who wear the City of Temple Police Officer Badge. Also pray for their family and friends who too sacrifice so much. Help them find peace and rest when their loved ones go into our community, not knowing what the day will bring. I pray your hand of peace and encouragement when they are afraid and worried. Help these family and friends to not be forgotten, but to be encouraged by others around them when their loved one is in the line of duty. Especially for our police officers, grant them your almighty shielding. Safeguard them and deliver them home safely each day. I pray for a hedge of defense to surround them against future attacks and incidents. I pray for confidence and quick thinking to know how to handle each situation, for their peace and safety, self-control, and discernment. Help them be a champion for justice, be brave and bold, yet serve with love and understanding. I pray for their courage and perseverance, even in the line of unjust criticism and unknown danger. Give them strength on their journey, rest for their souls, and guide their mental well-being. We are so incredibly grateful for each one of them, God, who you called to be our protectors and heroes, these brave men and women who stand tall in a broken world. And lastly, tonight, I pray that each one of them know that their good work is noticed, needed, and appreciated. In your most gracious heavenly name, I pray. Amen.
Thank you, ladies. Next item is public comments. Anyone wishing to speak to the council may do so. We just ask that you sign up prior to this meeting. And please keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. And please notice that if you're one of the speakers, please notice the timer on the television to each side. First is Robert Beeman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First of all, I'd like to say thank you on the National Day of Prayer Task Force for your leadership for the city of Temple, Mr. Mayor. And
Yes, sir.
not only that, but allowing us to come into the chamber instead of outside. So we came inside this day at lunchtime and proclaimed the gospel as you have had done it. Also, we thank the city of Temple for allowing this to happen because some places do not allow this to happen. So we want to thank you as well as doing this. Also, if you didn't get the first meeting, we have a second meeting this afternoon, and it's at McLean's Group, 4001 Center Point Parkway. So again, thank you all for allowing us to participate and to proclaim the name of the Lord in City of Temple.
Thank you. Thank you for your work in getting that organized. It's once a year, but I know it's a heavy lift. So thank you. Next is Charles Cole.
Can you hear me?
That's right.
Thank you, Mayor Davis, council. I just have some brief comments to make about the annexation of the WSG investment property that you'll be voting on. That's item M in your agenda. It's 116 acres. It backs up to the property I own and a lot of the residents on Boutwell East Lane. And, we know the first step is annexation, and that'll be approved with no problem. The next step will be the rezoning, and that's where we'll end up going from agricultural to a planned development. And it'll go through P and Z. And one of the main issues we have that we're concerned about, all the residents out there, is the drainage issues. And that comes from the issues with the land terrain that's out there, the topographical land, issues out there. We've already had the landing in Heritage Oaks that was approved by the city, and I told it wasn't approved by the county commissioners, and now we've got lawsuits out there on that drainage issue, and we just want to bring this to your attention when it goes to planning and zoning, and that we hope that you would forward my comments to the planning and zoning so that they would review things very well on this subdivision. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and keep in mind, Charles, that those meetings are public, the
Right.
P and Z meetings, so feel free to go there
Okay.
directly if you'd like.
Oh, I will.
All righty. I thought you might. Next is it Sean Mack? You want to speak? Okay, this happens sometimes. We don't take attendance. You don't have to sign up just to be here. All right, very good. Thank you. We will move on now to the next item, which is special recognitions. But before I do the regular agenda items, Councilmember Grant, you wanted to recognize some folks in the audience today?
Can you hear me? Last week I had the privilege of talking with the Temple College government class, speaking on local government. And so I was able to speak to her class, and they are here today. I don't know if it's extra credit, but you get it. Professor Kaylin Carew is here with her 2 students that showed up tonight. And so I just want to recognize you, and this is what it's all about. It's not going to be a really busy night, but this is a good showing of what's happening with local government. So thank you for attending.
Yeah, thank y'all. All right, next item is to recognize May 2024 as Preservation Month in the city of Temple. Ms. Atkinson, if you will come forward, I have a proclamation for you. Yes, yeah, bring. Yeah. Yeah, or you can grab the mic from Kelly, either one. Let me do the proclamation and then we'll have you introduce your folks and kind of tell us what you guys have going this month. So this proclamation is from the Office of the Mayor of the City of Temple, and it reads, whereas the National Trust of Historic Preservation established May as Preservation Month in 1973. And the intent is to promote historic places for the purpose of instilling community pride, promoting heritage tourism, and showing the social and economic benefits of historic preservation. And whereas the 2024 theme, which is People Saving Places, shines the spotlight on everyone doing the work of saving America's historic places in ways big and small by building community through preservation. And whereas historic preservation is relevant for all communities and people of every age from all walks of life and backgrounds, Temple continues to demonstrate its commitment to preservation as it grows and develops through ongoing protection of its historic neighborhoods and recognition, rehabilitation, and restoration of historic properties. Whereas National Preservation Month 2024 is a special event designated to celebrate the role of history in our lives and the contributions made by historic place savers who pour their time, energy, and resources into helping to preserve the tangible aspects of heritage that has shaped us as a people and as a community. Now, therefore, I, Timothy A. Davis, Mayor of the City of Temple, Texas, hereby proclaim the month of May 2024 as Preservation Month in the city of Temple, Texas, and I encourage all citizens of Temple to join with others across the nation who are participating in the special observances that draw attention to the importance of saving our community's history and preserving our historic buildings and sites for future generations. In testimony whereof, I witness my hand in the seal of the city of Temple, Texas, on this second day of May 2024. You bet. Y'all come on up.
Thank you, Mayor and Council, for having us. This is Ayana, and she is our board liaison with the staff, and we work closely with Councilmember Walker with our historic preservation group. Jeff is our chair of the board, and so just wanted to bring them up here and all the important work that they do to, I don't even think this is working, but anyways.
I think it helps with the recording.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
great.
Doesn't really amplify.
Maybe I'm just up. Anyway, so just all the great work that they do. It takes a lot of work to run that board and a lot of research and a lot of time. So these two definitely deserve the recognition for that. And as all of those that serve on that board, and definitely Jessica for her support, with the group as well. And just a couple of announcements for some of the activities we have coming up this month. So, Tuesday, May 28th, we have our dedication ceremony, which all of you will receive an invitation to that, for the Bird Creek Battle and Indian Hunting Grounds site, and that'll be at 10 a.m. That day, and it's at the Willow Glen subdivision. So we're really excited about that event. It's been a long time working. We started all of that process last year, so it'll be great to showcase that. It shows that we've come a long way with historic preservation for the city of Temple. It's been on the books, but I think it's been more active and known lately in the past, 3 years or so. And this just shows that it's not about just the buildings. It's also about events and sites and other things that are just really important to our community. And then the next event would be the following day on Wednesday, May 29th, and we have an informational meeting. So we've had great attendance at those over the past couple of years. And so we're excited to host that again. It'll be at the Santa Fe Depot. It'll be a lunchtime event, so we'll have lunch. So we invite everybody to come out who's interested in historic preservation and learning a little bit more. And then immediately following will be our regular board meeting. So thank you all for taking the time to recognize the importance of historic preservation in our community.
Yeah, thank you for your department's work. Just take that with you.
Thank you. I feel like we should clap.
Okay, next is to recognize May 2nd through May 18th, 2024 as National Police Week. Another proclamation? So this proclamation reads, whereas there are approximately 800,000 law enforcement officers serving in communities across the United States, including the dedicated members of the Temple Police Department. And whereas our community will always appreciate and commend the risk officers take every day to ensure the safety of our community. And whereas since the first recorded police death in 1786, there are currently 24,067 law enforcement officers in the United States that have made the ultimate sacrifice and have been killed in the line of duty. Whereas in 2024, the names of 282 officers killed in the line of duty were added to the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial in Washington, D.C. These 282 officers included 118 officers who were killed during 2023, and additional 164 officers killed in previous years, whose stories of sacrifice have been lost to history until now. And whereas the service and sacrifice of all officers killed in the line of duty will be honored during the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Fund's annual Candlelight Vigil on the evening of May 13th, 2024. Now therefore, I, Timothy A. Davis, Mayor of the City of Temple, Texas, do hereby proclaim the week of May 12th through 18th, 2024 as National Police Week throughout the City of Temple, and I urge all citizens to salute the service of law enforcement officers in our community and in communities across the nation. In testimony whereof, I witness my hand in the seal of in the seal of the City of Temple, Texas, on this second day of May 2024. Chief.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council members. Grateful for the proclamation and the recognition. If you look around the room, you can see a number of our officers, Officer Cody Close, Lieutenant Edward Best, Sergeant Bradley Perrin, Officer Justin Smith, Officer Garrett Glover. I get to wave the flag and the banner of the police department, but it's really these folks that are out there, boots on the ground, making a difference every day. And so if you would, I'd like to first honor them. And secondly, I kind of want to share a little inside the police department. So I sign a letter every time an officer is killed in the line of duty and send it to the head of the organization that is there. Yesterday, I signed 12 of them for the last week. Approximately every 52 hours, we lose a law enforcement officer in this country. That's a pretty staggering statistic. The numbers aren't going the right way. And then we also send two of our honor guard every year travel to Washington DC to take part in the ceremony out in Washington to honor and memorialize. And they many times will end up escorting families of the fallen to various events. So I'm very grateful for the budget that you give us to do that. Very grateful for the proclamation and the recognition. And I hope everyone in the community will just take a few minutes. If you see a police officer and you can sincerely say it, just please thank them for their service.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep, you bet. Thank you, Chief. Very good. Moving on to the next item, which is to recognize Officer Garrick Glover with the Temple Police Department for his actions during a medical emergency.
Thanks, Mayor. Appreciate you allowing us to recognize Officer Glover tonight. So Officer Glover, can you come on up? So I also have with me here our PIO and paramedic Santos Soto and driver paramedic. That's got a good ring to it. He was one of the ones promoted last week. So driver paramedic Brandon Fulcher, who was on this call. So on January 31st of this year, we had a motor vehicle accident, and all of Temple's emergency response crews responded to that, police, fire, and EMS. On the arrival, it became quite obvious to the first arriving responders, of which Officer Glover was one of those, that the victim was having a medical emergency, and he started CPR and then obtained his automatic external defibrillator, applied that, and applied a shock to the patient. And as we talked about in council back a few weeks ago at a council budget presentations, our police officers, our firefighters, and several of our municipal buildings have these devices for specifically this reason. When it comes to a sudden cardiac arrest, the best and most assured way of resuscitating someone is providing electrical shock to that person's heart to get it back to beating again. And that sounds kind of weird that you would shock someone to restart their heart, but that's exactly what you're doing. He recognized that the need for CPR, he recognized the need for defibrillation, and because of that, the further care that our paramedics did when they arrived, and then the care of the Temple EMS paramedics on the way to the hospital, we were able to resuscitate fully that individual as part of that call. So with that in mind, I'd like to recognize Officer Glover for his efforts in number one, being trained to be able to do that, and then number two, for putting that training to quick and appropriate use in the care of that individual. So, and I think we have a bar, so you guys want to walk up front and you can present him with the awards bar. So we're going to be presenting him with a CPR and defibrillation award bar.
Okay. I'm not the greatest public speaker, but these guys, they're the ones who saved that guy. My team, everybody on my team in patrol would have done the same thing I did. I just happened to be in the right spot. So me being there and them taking those calls while I was there, I appreciate them. These guys put in the work. I attached some wires and did what I was supposed to do, and they did the rest. They actually saved that guy. So I think they deserve a lot of recognition for that gentleman surviving that crash.
Police and firefighters are the best deflectors of credit in our whole community. So thank you, Garrick, for your work. And we know you did more than just attach the wires. Thank you. All right, next is to recognize the Temple Police Department for their efforts in assisting Belton Independent School District on April 19th, 2024. Dr. Golden. Yep, and recognize the guy with you.
Thank you. This is Chris Floor, and he's our vice president of our school board. And so thank you very much for the opportunity to be here this evening. I had no idea it was National Police Week. I just leaned over and said, that's perfect timing. I'm here this evening. I'm superintendent for Belton ISD. We have a little under 14,000 students, and 6,049 of the students live in the city of Temple. And so we are served by the amazing community of Temple and our Temple Police Department. And so I'm here this evening to say thank you to them and recognize them. So I was about 15 days on the job of being the new superintendent in Belton, and you get the worst call, the call that you have dreams about at night, that keep you up at night. The ones that you worry about as a parent, you worry about as an educator. And that was that we had a threat at a school. And so instantly watched the drills that we drill, the processes and procedures we put in place, and the partnership with the Temple Police Department go into action. The prayer talked about, we prayed to God today for confidence and quick response. And I will tell you that our prayers have been answered. They arrived quickly with confidence, set up a command center so quickly, and handled the situation with incredible professionalism. They kept our staff calm, our students calm. And I just want to tell you that comes from an amazing partnership with them. And so I thank you for the partnership with us, but particularly wanted to recognize Chief Reynolds was in the command center doing an amazing job helping us with very scared parents and staff. And then also Lieutenant Best for his work in kind of leading the work in the command center. And so just wanted to be here and say thank you. And Chris would like to say a few words.
Mayor, City Council, thank you for allowing us to be here tonight. Well, I do serve as the Vice President of the Board of Trustees, and I can tell you, we drill and we drill and we drill our safety committee, right? We drill and we drill and we drill some more, right? And you never know what's gonna happen, right? You never want to have to put any of that into work. Putting my parent hat on, I had 2 students in the school that day. I had one down the road, and it's a scary day. Scary day from a parent. Now, I'm so proud of the way that the police department responded that day. Any of the responders that responded that day put that training and the preparation to work. And what that gave to me as a parent was the confidence that this is the right place for our parents. This is the right place for our families. And just the care that that this entity, right, and our EMS and first responders and police department puts in. This is a great place to raise a family. And this is a great example why. You never want to have this example why, but this is it. So thank you all so much. It means so much to not only me as a board member, but me as a parent. So thank you.
Well said. Thank you.
Mayor, could we maybe grab Chief Reynolds and Lieutenant Best and get a
Yes,
picture
absolutely.
with,
Is Buddy up? There's Buddy.
Yeah. Come on down.
Okay. Yeah, bring everybody down. Absolutely.
Did not smile, Lieutenant Best.
Gotta have that tough guy all the time.
Quick, I'm a fireman. I was at the scene, forgive me, chief, I'm gonna get in trouble later. I was at the scene the other day. I've been here 36 years, and I believe we were created to be firemen heroes. I get that. But I'll tell you what, I was amazed. I saw the firemen and the EMS underneath a 340-pound pipe for hours and hours saving people.
140,000 pounds. Yep.
I've never felt closer. I've never been more. They're my heroes. I don't have too many heroes.
Yeah. Yeah. Dr. Golden and Mr. Ford, thank y'all for coming and taking a minute. Yep. And Buddy, thank you for your comments. We talked about that today in workshop about the heroic work that was done this weekend, and it's amazing. Yeah, I often say this. I go to work every day and I'm a computer jockey, right? I sit behind my monitor and I don't worry about being shot at. I don't worry about a 340,000 pound, pipe rolling over. But it's because of our heroes that we're all able to go and do our work in safety and live our lives in safety. And not everyone does that day in and day out, or gets the privilege to do that without these other people out there protecting us and working for us. So this has been very police heavy. We're done with you guys, Chief. We're gonna move on, but thank y'all. Yeah, y'all get this special treatment once a year, but thank y'all for your work. We truly do appreciate every one of you. Mr. Perrin, you too. Thank you. All right, moving on. Now what you all came here for, the consent agenda. All items under this section, which is called the consent agenda, are considered to be routine by the city council and may be enacted by one motion. If discussion is desired by the council on any, if discussion is desired by the council on any specific item, that item can be removed from the consent agenda at the request of the council member and will be considered separately. Council during workshop, there's nothing that needs to be pulled. Is that still the case? All right. Then council, if nothing's going to be pulled, then I will entertain a motion on item 6. Is that right? Yes. 4, I'm sorry. I looked at something else. The consent agenda, I'll entertain a motion for approval on the consent agenda, which is items 7A through 7P.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda items 7A through 7P.
I'll second it.
We have a motion by Councilmember Long. We have a second by Mayor Pro Tem Walker. Council, please cast your vote. The consent agenda passes 5 votes to 0. In all my years on this council, I've never had a meeting that only had consent on it. So with that,
You're welcome.
you're welcome. You're welcome. With that, 5:30 and this meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for attending.